No, not my man. Excuse me, are you trying to talk to my man? What are you doing?
Nothing, baby.
She is not all that.
Are you tripping as hell? Come on now.
Please.
At one point, you were pregnant by Jay?
Yes, I had a miscarriage.
Okay, this is before the whole
This is,
takeover.
this is like
Okay.
before all
So
of that.
how-
I'm a woman, he's a man. Like to think that, I'm on this pedestal and like I'm not. I'm a human being. I'm like a regular woman. I have desires, I have needs.
Beyoncé has been obsessed with Carmen Bryan for years, and it shows. In 2001, MTV dropped Carmen, a Hip Hopera, and it was like nothing we'd ever seen before. Directed by Robert Townsend, this movie had Beyoncé making her acting debut before she hit the big screen in Austin Powers and Goldmember. It wasn't just Beyoncé, though. Mekhi Phifer, Mos Def, Rah Digga, and a bunch of other stars were in it too. This movie took the 1875 opera Carmen and gave it a modern twist, setting it in Philly and LA with a hip-hop/R&B soundtrack that made it super fresh. The story is all about Carmen Brown, a super seductive aspiring actress who seems to bring trouble wherever she goes. She catches the eye of Derek Hill, a Philly cop who's already engaged to Kayla, a cocktail waitress. Things spiral out of control when Carmen convinces Hill to let her stop by her place before taking her to jail. She him, and they end up in a huge mess of obsession and betrayal that leads to tragedy. Beyoncé as Carmen was a big deal, marking her first acting gig. But what makes this even juicier is the real-life drama that people think might be connected to the film. There were all these rumors about Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and a woman named Carmen Bryan.
At one point, you were pregnant by Jay?
Yes, I had a miscarriage.
Bryan claimed she had an affair with Jay-Z, and this got people talking. So when Beyoncé played Carmen in this movie, some folks couldn't help but wonder if there was more to it. Was she sending a message? The film's story of obsession and betrayal had everyone buzzing, especially with Beyoncé at the center of it. The character of Carmen is manipulative and causes a lot of chaos, which some people thought was a nod to the alleged drama between Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Carmen Bryan. Carmen, a hip hopera, might not have been a critical darling, but it's definitely a fascinating piece of early 2000s pop culture. Fans and gossip lovers alike can't help but draw parallels between the movie and Beyoncé's personal life. Whether or not Beyoncé was throwing shade or making a statement through her role as Carmen, it's one of those things that makes you go, Now, you might be wondering, why would Queen Bey herself, in all her grandiosity, be jealous of Carmen? Well, for starters, maybe it's because her husband Jay-Z once wanted Carmen so much that he sparked a hip-hop beef that's still talked about today. Back in 2001, Jay-Z dropped a track called The Takeover as part of his Blueprint campaign. This song, which kicked off his highly praised album, put his ongoing beef with Nas out in the open. Without saying any names directly, Jay-Z hinted in his lyrics that he had been romantically involved with a woman who was important to Nas. That woman turned out to be Carmen Bryan. She's the mother of Nas's daughter Destiny, and now she's an author. Carmen Bryan sat down with DJ Vlad and broke down her past relationship with the rapper and her decision to cheat on him with Jay-Z. The problem was who I was cheating with, she said. Now, had I been cheating with like some nobody who just wants to play Nintendo all day in front of the TV, that may not have been a problem. Okay, like Carmen, we can get through that. We can get past that. But I was cheating with individuals that were in the same genre of music, the same circles, the same company. But I didn't look at it as if I was doing anything wrong. I felt like this is my circle too. These are my peers too. Like I'm in the box too. Remember the single, Is That Your Chick? That was the beginning of one of the biggest battles of all time. She then broke down her time with Hova.
I had a relationship with Jay-Z, but the thing about Jay-Z and I, we were friends before anything. That was my best friend before we became intimate.
Carmen went on to reveal that her affair with Jay-Z led to her being pregnant.
At one point, you were pregnant by Jay?
Yes, I had a miscarriage. I believe I was definitely less than 3 months. It was the first trimester.
According to Carmen, her affair with Jay-Z is what started the entire rivalry between him and Nas. In fact, Jay-Z released Takeover, which seemed to hint at his affair with Carmen.
Again, Jay-Z is a very subliminal type, you know what I mean? He throws little...
Following this, Nas released Ether, which was sort of a response to Jay-Z's diss track, Takeover. At the time, Carmen believed Nas wanted her around during this beef to show he still had her support, even though they weren't together romantically anymore. Carmen told Vlad TV that she was in the kitchen with Nas and the Bravehearts when Funkmaster Flex played Ether. The response response to Takeover. In a revealing interview with Vlad, Carmen speaks about an issue that called her reputation into question.
No, I didn't hear it before it dropped. I heard it on the radio like everybody else. Nas and I heard it in the kitchen together on the radio.
She then went on to add, I feel like he needed me to be there. In lieu of this battle, in lieu of this beef, it was like, well, I still got the girl and she's over here with me. I'm about to drop this song and dead everything. That was the plan, and it worked. At that time, the beef between the two multi-platinum New York City MCs appeared to mirror Tupac Shakur's claim that he had intercourse with Faith Evans, the estranged wife of rival Biggie Smalls. Bryan also contended that Ether was a revealing showcase of Nas's personality that is often misread by his deadpan expressions. While Nas did not address his one-time romantic partner in his response to Jay, he accused his rival of an intimate relationship with Foxy Brown, who had previously been a bandmate of Nas in the firm. Jay-Z would respond to Ether with Super Ugly. In that song, Jay's accusations were not so subliminal. Snatching Nas's Got Herself A instrumental, he rapped, "Me and the boy AI got more in common than just bawling and rhyming. Get it? More in Carmen. I came in your Bentley backseat, skeeted in your Jeep, left on your baby's seat." Almost 16 years later, in 2017, Carmen reacted. That was such an emotional reaction. Number 2, my daughter Destiny Jones was like 8-9 years old when Super Ugly came out, so what car seat is she sitting in at 9-10 years old? Jay-Z's never been in any of our vehicles. That was him just grasping at things and just trying to make an instant comeback. But even the next day, when he got on the radio station, Hot 97, he was disheveled. He sounded like he was about to cry. He wasn't sure where he was going with the story. His mother called and made him apologize. Super Ugly was not a well-thought-out plan. And I believe, in hindsight, that he regretted ever dropping that. In fact, I know for a fact that he regretted dropping it because we have a mutual friend who told me that he said that. She further deduces it was an emotion reaction to an whoopin'. In 2017, Carmen Bryan urged a more matured Jay-Z to look at history with empathy. And you know what's crazy about that? Now, Jay-Z has a daughter, and social media is a Back then, when he made these disparaging remarks and comments about my daughter and created this disgusting visual, there were so many people around him that stayed quiet. They said absolutely nothing. Sometimes when you don't pick a side, you pick a side. I'm a totally different person. Had Nas said something like that about their child, all hell would have broke loose. I would not, as a woman, have stood by any man who disrespects children and drags them into adult affairs. While it may seem hard to believe now, 2 of New York's biggest rappers were embroiled in a heated feud for years in the late 90s and early 2000s, with jabs exchanged as recently as 2018. If you thought the beef between Pusha T and Drake was messy, you haven't seen anything yet. Jay-Z's mother, Gloria Carter, even had to step in at one point. It all started back in 1996 when Nas reportedly failed to show up for a recording session for Jay-Z's track Bring It On from his debut album Reasonable Doubt. The album was released later that year, and in the absence of Nas, producer Ski Beats sampled Nas's line from The World Is Yours on another song, Dead Presidents 2. Nas's second album, It Was Written, arrived a month later. Its opening track, The Message, includes what many perceived as a shot at Jay-Z with the line, Lex with TV sets the minimum. What does a Lexus with a TV inside have to do with anything? Well, Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt included many references to the luxury car. On Can I Live, he likened his mind to a Lexus. My mind is infested with sick thoughts that circle like a Lexus. And the music video for Dead Presidents 2 features a Lexus GS. Nas later explained, I saw Jay-Z driving a Lexus with the TVs in them. I got rid of my Lexus at that point and was looking for the next best thing. It wasn't a shot at Jay, but it was just saying that's the minimum you gotta have. It's not a shot at him, but he inspired that line. It wasn't necessarily a shot at him, but because the song was a shot at everybody, he fell into that. But he definitely inspired that line. In 1997, Jay-Z sampled Nas's voice again on Rap Game, Crack Game, another friendly nod to his rival. However, he also dropped a line on Where I'm From, which many consider his first shot at Nas. I'm from where and pull your card and argue all day about who's the best MCs, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. In March of that year, Biggie Smalls passed away, and Jay-Z did not hesitate to claim the New York hip-hop throne with his song, The City Is Mine. Some believe that Rockefeller artist and Jay-Z protege Memphis Bleek was drawn into the feud with his first single from his coming-of-age album, Memphis Bleek Is, which had arguable similarities to Nas's Like. Most notably, however, was the track What You Think of That, where Bleek raps, My whole team rocks. We don't speak to cats. I'm a ball till I fall. What you think of that? Nas responded with Nostradamus, directly referring to the lyrics on What You Think of That with, I need an encore, y'all. You should welcome me back. You want a ball till you fall? I can help you with that. Memphis Bleek decided to step things up with a diss that could not be misinterpreted. On My Mind Right, he references Nas's second studio album, It Was Written. Your lifestyle's written, so who you supposed to be, play your position, while also assuring everyone he thinks very little of his rival. It's beef, I'ma see you and bang till you hang up. Your life a lie, but here's the truth. You ain't hype to die, but you hype to shoot. Nas responded to Bleek with Stillmatic, referring to several members of the Rockefeller crew, Jay-Z, Beanie Sigel, and of course Memphis Bleek. Rip the freeway, shoot through Memphis with money bags, stop in Philly, order cheesesteaks and eat beans fast. And then going directly to HOV asking, is he H to the Izzo? M to the Izzo? Then Jay-Z performed a freestyle at Hot 97's Summer Jam, taking jabs at Prodigy of Mobb Deep and Nas. And people were shook. This is where the beef really gets juicy. A polished version of the song, Takeover, appeared on his 2001 album, The Blueprint, and Jay-Z did not come to play. On the Kanye West-produced track, he calls Nas a has-been, saying he has one hot album every 10-year average, questions his street cred, and basically comes for him at every level. To many rap fans, Nas's music career seemed dead and gone after Takeover. It soon became clear that Nas would not go down without a fight. On his 2001 album, Stillmatic, he unleashed Ether, a diss track that would go down in history.
In December of 2001, Stillmatic was released.
The track Ether put to rest all of that beef between him and Jay and basically set the story straight.
Nas came back at him and he spoke his mind.
Nas responded to Jay-Z's claims of being a has-been by reminding him he's been in the rap game much longer. I got this, locked since 9-1. I am the truest. Name a rapper that I ain't influenced. He then proceeded to attack his street cred and accuses him of copying his style. In 88, you was getting chased to your building, callin' my crib, and I ain't even give you my numbers. All I did was give you a style for you to run with. He also accused Jay of selling out y'all ends deal with emotions like these. What's sad is I love you cause you're my brother. You traded your soul for riches. He called Jay-Z ugly, a misogynist, employed a lot of unsavory homophobic slurs against him, and alluded to an affair he had with Foxy Brown. He also mentioned that Eminem outshined him on his own song Renegade, and that HOV stole his rhyming skills from Biggie. The beef in the album led to Nas's lost tapes being released, then God's Son, which to many cemented his status as NYC's best MC for years to come. People were shook by Takeover, but Ether was on another level. After being absolutely obliterated by Nas, Jay-Z was not going to let him have the last word with Ether. Enter Super Ugly, which samples Nas's own Got Herself A and Dr. Dre's Bad Intentions. Jay-Z dished out his fair share of insults, but he twisted the knife on Super Ugly, bragging about having an alleged 3-year-long affair with Nas's girlfriend Carmen Bryan. A lot of people thought Jay took things way too far. His own mother, Gloria Carter, even called into local radio station Hot 97 saying he should apologize to Nas and his family. HOV called in soon after, apologizing to his mother and any female listeners he may have offended with his lyrics. In the two rappers' native New York City, the atmosphere was particularly intense. Radio stations like Hot 97 would encourage the feud by playing Ether and Super Ugly back to back. At one point, they even took a poll about the beef, with 58% of listeners saying they preferred Ether to Super Ugly. The consensus seemed to point to Nas as the winner. Ether has since become an emblematic diss track, with rappers reinterpreting it for their beef purposes. A recent example would be Remy Ma's Shether, aimed at Nicki Minaj. Since Nas dropped the song, Ether has been frequently used as a verb to denote one rapper asserting their dominance over another using a diss track. The beef continued to sizzle, and Jay-Z attacked Nas again on the title track of his Blueprint 2 album, claiming he's more generous than him, once again questioning his street cred, and even references his Super Ugly apology encouraged by his mother. My mama can't save you this time. N is history. After Nas's response on the last Real N Alive, where he compared the beef between he and Jay-Z to Scarface and suggested HOV is nothing more than a footnote in the history of New York hip-hop, the two basically had a ceasefire, with only minor shots being fired and Jay temporarily retiring with the Black Album. 4 years after Ether, Nas and Jay-Z decided to end their beef in front of a sold-out crowd at the Continental Airlines Arena in East Rutherford, New Jersey, during Jay-Z's I Declare War tour in October 2005. Many Many fans thought that the tour would see HOV coming for his hip-hop enemies, but instead, he decided to reconcile with Nas on stage. The two performed Dead Presidents and The World Is Yours, with Jay-Z declaring, "All that beef is done. We had our fun," he said. "Let's get this money." A year later, Nas ended his deal with Columbia Records and signed with Def Jam, now headed by Jay-Z.
Me coming over to Def Jam is, I'm bringing something to the table. I'm equivalent to 20 of these artists.
Shortly after, they officially teamed up for the first time on Black Republican off Nas's Hip Hop Is Dead. Although some people on the internet thought that Jay-Z was trying to reheat the early millennium beef by dropping his album with Beyoncé the day after Nasir. Whether that was intentional or not, the beef is now firmly behind them, and we've got a new collaboration to prove it.
It's bigger than both of us because it's not really about us. I mean, it is, but it really isn't. You know what I'm saying? It's more so about the culture, and also about the ending, and also about showing people another way.
In any case, many fans argue that Jay-Z did not just get intimate with Carmen Bryan just to get back at Nas, but just because that's who he is. In fact, there have been rumors for years about how Solange is probably not Jay-Z's biggest fan.
I used to have Nas on my nails, the whole thing. Nas knew I was a I met him, I started bawling.
The streets have been saying for years that she isn't exactly the biggest fan of Beyoncé's relationship and marriage to Jay-Z because she just doesn't like him. You see, an altercation between Solange and Jay happened on May 5th, 2014 at the Met Gala after party at the Standard Hotel in New York City. It gained widespread attention when security footage from an elevator was leaked to the media. In the video, Solange Knowles, the younger sister of Beyoncé, could be seen physically attacking Jay-Z, while Beyoncé initially stood by without intervening. The footage showed Solange kicking and punching Jay-Z, with a security guard attempting to restrain her. Beyoncé eventually stepped in, putting herself between Solange and Jay-Z. 10 days after the incident, the trio released a joint statement addressing the drama. As a result of the public release of the elevator security footage from Monday, May 5th, there has been a great deal of speculation about what triggered the unfortunate incident. But the most important thing is that our family has worked through it, they said in a statement to the Associated Press. Jay and Solange each assume their share of responsibility for what has occurred. They both acknowledge their role in this private matter that has played out in the public. They both have apologized to each other, and we have moved forward as a united family. The statement continued. The reports of Solange being intoxicated or displaying erratic behavior throughout that evening are simply false. At the end of the day, families have problems, and we're no different. We love each other, and above all, we are family. We've put this behind us and hope everyone else will do the same. 2 months later, Solange cleared the air about the altercation with Lucky magazine. "What's important is that my family and I are all good," the singer said. "What we had to say collectively was in the statement that we put out, and we all feel at peace with that." Beyoncé kept talk of the incident alive in August 2014 when she debuted a remix of her song Flawless that seemed to reference the famous elevator brawl. Following his wife's footsteps, Jay-Z appeared to call out the famous footage in his song Jay-Z off his 2017 album 444. He raps, "You egged Solange on, knowing all along, all you had to say you was wrong. But you gotta do better, boy, you owe it to Blue. You had no father, you had the armor, but you got a daughter, gotta get softer." Well, another reason why Jay-Z may not be liked by Solange is purportedly due to his alleged controlling behavior towards Beyoncé. Jay-Z and Beyoncé are arguably the Hollywood power couple, but that doesn't mean their relationship was without its complexities. Despite their combined fortune of nearly $2 billion, a luxurious home, and the admiration of their peers, the dynamics of their marriage presented a different story. For those unfamiliar with Beyoncé and Jay-Z's journey as a couple, they have consistently faced scrutiny for the unconventional aspects of their relationship. For example, they first met when Beyoncé was just a teenager while Jay-Z was in his 30s.
Hi, my name is Beyoncé. Beyoncé Giselle Knowles, and I'm 16 years old. I just turned 16.
Reflecting on those early days, Beyoncé once shared in an interview, "I was 18 when we first met, 19 when we started dating. There was no rush. No one expected me to run off and get married." The couple officially began dating when Beyoncé was 19 and Jay-Z was 31, sparking concerns among fans, with some speculating about the possibility of Beyoncé being you-know-what by Jay-Z. Setting aside the age gap, observers have also raised eyebrows about the uneven power dynamics right from the beginning. When Beyoncé and Jay-Z embarked on their romance, Beyoncé was already quite popular, but Jay-Z was an industry heavyweight with significantly more clout and influence than she had at the time.
Just focus on what you're trying to do, and I promise you, you're gonna get it. if you work hard at it and you keep God first.
She said, "My teenage years were about the grind. I grew up hearing this particular scripture from James 2:17, faith without work is dead. Vision and intention weren't enough. I had to put in the work. I committed to always being a student and always being open to growth. My energy went into Destiny's Child and the dream of us getting a record deal and becoming musicians. If something wasn't helping me reach my goal, I decided to invest no time in it. I didn't feel like I had time to kiki or hang out. I sacrificed a lot of things and ran from any possible distraction." Beyoncé wasn't just 12 years younger than Jay-Z, but she was also pretty inexperienced when it came to relationships, adding an extra layer of sketchiness. As time passed, speculation started about whether she felt confined in the marriage, especially now that she's older and had more experience. Some insiders claim it's not just a feeling, Beyoncé is genuinely trapped. According to sources, Jay-Z holds complete control over every aspect of her life, leaving her with little room to live on her own terms. Multiple people have recently come forward to expose Jay-Z's control and manipulation of Beyoncé. In addition to all this, a former bodyguard of Beyoncé once revealed that Jay allegedly got her hooked on substances.
Yeah, Beyonce's on. She been on them for a long time, and you keep her that way.
The former bodyguard also alleged that Beyoncé and Jay-Z's marriage is not real and that it is just a contract to help them reach the top.
So remember, your relationship was a business relationship, financial, to get to the top, to become big in it. There's no love there.
Okay, now, if it was just Uncle Ron making the allegations that Beyoncé has been on, then maybe I would say that there's a great chance that he's not telling the truth. But the thing is, he's not the only one who said it.
Right now, y'all talking about free Britney. Y'all need to be doing a campaign that say free Beyonce.
Beyonce is free.
She is a prisoner in a guilt.
And just look at this video of Beyoncé and tell me she doesn't look off to you.
Why did God give me this life? Sometimes it's overwhelming.
So far, however, there's no solid evidence to suggest that Bey is on anything. But people have also been suggesting that the only way Beyoncé is still in the marriage is because she's on and that the marriage is fake. Given all these circumstances, it might seem puzzling why Beyoncé would still stick around. But then again, we probably don't know what happens behind closed doors. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.